everyone, it's Cathy Zielske back with another installment of Easy with me, CZ. I am excited about today's card, so let's get into it. First, we're going to start out by making our card base, but not folding it. This is going to be a one-layer card, and it's all about border masking. Today, I'm going to be using the very, very low-tack tape from Simon Says Stamp to quickly mask off a nice, well, it's a little more than 1/2 inch, but a nice border all the way around the edge of the front of the card. In this way, I'm creating a beautiful margin of space that will be equal from side to side. I'm adding a little Post-it tape up top, and I'm bringing in these 3 layering stencils that are actually designed to go with an embossing folder that we have, but I'm going to use them to create my panel of stars. So I'm starting out with Peony, and I'll just bring this in and blend this color onto the cardstock. And usually the magnets do a pretty good job of holding the stencil in place. You can tape it down as well. I'm coming in next with Cantaloupe, and that's sometimes see where I have my magnets. Always have a third if you can, and I actually bought some extra magnets just so that wouldn't happen. But you can overlap these colors because they do follow one another in the rainbow, and that's why it's nice to stick with just a few. So we're bringing in Lemonade with the second stencil and adding some stars in yellow. Then I'm going to do a little overlap here, little orange and yellow together, and a little more of the orange up top. So you just kind of move around and pick where you want your stars to be. I'm bringing in the third stencil, which kind of fills in the spaces. And again, pop down the magnets and bring in more color. Here I'll come back to Cantaloupe, work that through a few of the stars until I get this to look pretty much how I want it to look. The great thing is too, once you remove the panel, you can say, all right, I think I do want a star there, right? So then you can just go back in and add a few stars here and there. I actually decided to bring in my other stencil to quickly mask off the top there so I could get that extra star, and added one more star down at the bottom. Now here's a fun thing. I'm going to take essentially what is the leftover ink on my brushes and lightly come in with each color from the outside, going over the masked area, right, and just bringing it in. And it doesn't look like much at all when you're doing it because you think, oh, shouldn't this be darker? But you really don't want it to be because it will be so dramatic once you peel it off, and then leaving it white in the center. And look at this cool peel and reveal, and that tape doesn't stick to your paper, it doesn't tear anything, and it creates the most beautiful framing margin. And look at that panel. Oh, I love it. I'm going to press this down with my Teflon bone folder, and hopefully this has got your wheels thinking of all the stencils you might have that you could do this with. The possibilities are endless. For my greeting, I'm going to stamp Here for You onto a piece of Simon Says Stamp Sunshine Yellow cardstock. Thought this would be a nice cardstock to use. I'm powdering it up with my anti-static powder tool, and then here using my Simon Says Stamp clear embossing ink. Go ahead and stamp this down. Use my stamp press to transfer the ink to the cardstock. I'm going to make sure that it's still in the corner, and I'm going to hit it one more time just to get a really good coverage of the embossing ink before I add my powder. The powder I'm using today will be the Simon Says Stamp Fine Detail White. Sprinkle that on, let it set for a second, tap it off, and add one more coating just for good measure, and tap it off. Looks good. I'll get my heat tool warmed up for about 20 seconds before I bring it to the paper, and look at how beautifully that's stamped and how gorgeous that powder is as it's melting. Nice and crisp. Love it. I'll take the coordinating die and tape it into place with some of the very, very low tack tape, and then just run that through my die cut machine and cut out the greeting. And again, the tape doesn't stick even when it gets pressure from a die cut machine, which is really nice. I'm adding some 3D foam squares from Simon. These are the slightly thicker version. They come with both the small and the large sizes. And once I have those all in the back, I'm going to take the backers off, and then I'll add a little liquid glue to each foam square just for a little wiggle room, because these, well, they stick like a mother. And I like to have a little wiggle room. And I love this positioning where the greeting pops into that margin. And I'll quickly make sure that that word here is perfectly straight by bringing my T-square in. Ah, so fun. I'll add a little shine here with some silver confetti style sequins, and this card is almost done. Little liquid glue and boop, just 5 sequins, a nice odd number. Boop, love it. And that is the finished card project. I hope this gives you ideas for masking, just masking the edge and then putting whatever you want in the center. Bust out those stencils and see what you can come up with. Then just top it with your favorite greeting and you have an absolutely gorgeous card project. I'll see you back here next month with another installment of Easy with me, CZ. If you're looking for more crafty inspiration, check out the thumbnails listed below, and we will see you in the next video here on our channel.